Hello and welcome to the Degenerate YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in again to the College Football Week 7 Best Bets video. Steak and myself will be going through, again, just a more polished version of giving you what we like the most. The last couple of weeks have been up and down, and I know not exactly what we intended on with the video because of our schedules. However, we did review the board from start to finish if you want to go through and watch it with our live chat. As we do every weekday on the board review. It's on Twitch, it's on YouTube, and we're on Twitter. Make sure to follow us. We are presented by Pickett Sports. Make sure to download Pickett, sync your sports books, track your wagers, follow us while you're on there, and use promo code DGen. You get $3 back whenever you sign up. All right, Steak. We are halfway through the college football season, and I think coming off, I don't know how you did personally, but our newsletter plays we had our worst weekend. We went 0-3. I went 0-7. It was my worst college football Saturday of the year. It's funny. I've had like a good weekend and then a bad weekend, and a good weekend and a bad weekend. I can't get very consistent. When we first talked about this board, I got to tell you, I didn't love it. We went through it briefly, I believe, after our Tuesday board review, and then today's Friday. We just went through it. I'm really warming up to it. I'm starting to like it. And I think we're kind of going our own ways on a few games, which will be fun to talk about. So there's a couple games tonight, Friday. We're going to skip those. We do have some thoughts. You can follow us on Twitter, see what we're on if you give a shit. All right. And if you tail responsibly, make sure you bet responsibly as well. Okay. Again, we're not going through the entire board, but we're going to talk about our best bets. And we have an official newsletter play. We got 5 bets in our newsletter, and there's 2 of them at noon. First one, Missouri at home against Alabama. They are 3-point underdogs, 5-0, 3-2 ATS against 4-1 Alabama, who is 4-1 and 4-1 ATS. I guess that means they've won and covered every game since that week 1 loss down in Florida State. Steak, I'll let you start this one off. I just want to make sure the viewers know you were an Alabama guy. You're still an Alabama guy, but you're not feeling too good about this spot.
No, I like Missouri a lot, and I wasn't prepared to like this Missouri team as much as I do. It kind of got the Penn State reject at quarterback, Bo Prabula, and it's funny to see him doing so well while Drew Aller and Penn State is struggling so much. But I'm enjoying it. I'll be honest. I am a little bit of a Penn State hater, and Ahmad Hardy might be the best running back in the country. And I guess I know a few people say, oh, well, who's Missouri played? Pretty decent win against Kansas and a pretty decent win against South Carolina that no one's impressed by, but you play who you play, and this team looks really, really good. And that's why I'm not even really trying to play like sharp line, short line, contrarian, nothing like that. I like Missouri. I like this Missouri team at home. And to be honest, I am an Alabama backer, and I think they have all the talent in the world, but I'm not overly impressed. I'm not overly impressed with the Georgia win, to be honest. I would argue Georgia lost that game more than Alabama won it. DeBoer beat Kirby last year, and they still had an awful year. And Vanderbilt turned the ball over twice inside the 10-yard line last week, and Bama still needed a miracle to cover that one. So I just not that impressed, and I just really, really think Missouri could win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't love it at first, but the more I sat on it, the more I'm with you. I guess I watched Alabama play. I watched them play week 1 against FSU, and my biggest takeaway in that game wasn't even so much to shit on Alabama. It was so impressed with Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback for FSU, and how hard he played and how hard the whole Florida State team played. So I took away more pros with FSU. I just like what I've seen from Alabama. They played Louisiana Monroe after 73-0, but with Wisconsin and Bama, I tried to fade them in the first half, and Ty Simpson was incredible. That's quarterback for Alabama, and he got himself back into the conversation for Heisman, which you can do if you lose a game or two. I mean, Jaden Daniels did it. He went 8-4, but he's looked really good. And then I liked how on the road in Georgia, at Georgia, they went up and they didn't squander and give the lead back. That game in Vandy was tough. You liked Vandy plus 10.5, and frankly, that should have been the right side. It was a late cover for Bama. That would have been a really bad beat if you were on Vanderbilt. But what I like the most about taking Missouri here is this is a really, really tough stretch for Alabama that nobody's talking about. At Georgia, Vandy at home, which is a very respectable Vanderbilt team now, not like in years past. This trip to Missouri, then they have Tennessee at home, at South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma. It's just tough. It's a tough ass to go through and be flawless, right?
Insane. And honestly, man, I think they might destroy Tennessee next week. I think they struggle with Missouri way more than they struggle with Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. The last thing I want to say that I don't think we talked about before, which is hilarious. This is the sixth game of the year for Missouri. This is the sixth home game of the year for Missouri.
Wow.
Nobody's talked about that.
That's crazy. So they must have all road games for the rest of the year.
They have 4 of their last 6 games are on the road. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty tough. At Auburn, at Vandy, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and then at Oklahoma, at Arkansas. Okay. Well, this will be fun to see if Missouri is for real or not. A total of 51 in that game. And if you want to look at the Pickett splits, again, make sure to download Pickett. This is the desktop version that shows you the wagers. 8,258 bets, $319,000 wagered. Granted, there's going to be a lot more than that tomorrow, right before kickoff. You can take these with a grain of salt if you really want to. But looks like you got a little bit more bets and money on the spread here with Missouri taking the points. But Alabama appears to be a bit of a popular money line play. Okay, let's go to our other best bet at noon. This is an interesting noon slate. There's there's 1 or 2 other games that might make my card, but we don't have to spend too much time on those. We talked about Pitt and FSU. It's not an official play, but I was leaning Pitt. I'm going to cool off. Are you going to be betting FSU?
I think so. Yeah.
You
I
do?
like FSU by a lot. Yeah.
Okay. You like FSU by a lot. I don't know that it's anything to spend too much time on. But let's talk Michigan State and UCLA. We're on this under. And this one's kind of led by you. And I'm falling in love with it because we align because we're still a bit contrarian, but in terms of the spots with college, the letdowns, the look aheads, the sandwich spots and everything, I know they tend to get abused, but I think you and I both, as soon as we saw UCLA upset Penn State as 25-point underdogs, we're probably thinking we want to fade them the following week because we also know that Penn State sucks. Like, yes, kudos to UCLA for pulling that off, but fuck Penn State at the same time. Then I look and they're playing Michigan State, East Lansing, weird place for a team like UCLA and these colors, just to be in Big Ten territory in Michigan. But UCLA has been on the road quite a bit. They've gone to UNLV, back home. Then they went to Chicago to play Northwestern, back home, get their first win of the season, and score 42 points. Before that, it was 10-23, 10-14. By far the best offensive performance they've had. That's key little bit of, I just want people to, before foreshadowing right there. Best offensive performance they've had this season.
Yeah.
Against the Michigan State team, who is 3-2 on the year, back-to-back losses at USC and at Nebraska. But the one thing they do is they cover when they're underdogs. They're 2-0 ATS when they're underdogs. They are 0-3 as favorites. So they're laying 7.5 points in this game. What are we taking?
I'll keep it really simple. UCLA, I think no one in the world predicted that they could have beaten Penn State last week. But if you did predict that, you were not predicting it would be by beating them in an 80-point shootout. If you thought there was any chance in hell UCLA was beating Penn State last week, it was because Penn State turned the ball over in the red zone and couldn't score, and maybe it would be like 16-13. But if you would have told someone last week, UCLA, who's barely scored 42 points all fucking season, is going to drop 42 on Penn State and win 42-37, they would have wanted you drug tested. That's just the truth. And I'm maybe saying the most obvious thing ever, but that is an anomaly. You could play this game over 100 times, and I'm not saying that UCLA wouldn't win again, but they would not win 42-37 or anything close. That would never happen again. This game was an anomaly, and I think the total in this game is an overreaction to that game and the fact that Michigan State just played a 38-27 game against Nebraska. I don't think this total has any business being this high. And so I like the under. I like getting back to what we're used to seeing from UCLA, which could be 14-17 points and maybe 20-24 from Michigan State, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're going to be on this under. It's a best bet in the newsletter. We do have 5 plays this week coming off an 0-3 weekend. So buy low on the DGen fam. Okay, just a couple other games here at noon, but I don't know that I'm going to do it. I just want to talk about it for a second. Oklahoma is making a quarterback switch. I just saw our guy Shane Trail. Well, not our guy, but Shane Trail. I like Shane. I don't know if you follow anyone listening follows him or whatnot, but he pointed out that they're starting a wide receiver at quarterback.
You mean Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State. Yeah. What did I say?
Oklahoma.
Sorry. Oklahoma State at home against Houston, 14.5-point dogs. This guy's a wide receiver. But then Liam Blutman, works at Barstool, said people forget this guy used to play quarterback. He played quarterback, I believe, at West Virginia. I think this is a weird spot for Houston. So I might get involved with Oklahoma State. However, we did talk about this earlier. You said, we know better. We don't do better. We need a get back guy. You might pull your get back guy card here and not let me bet Oklahoma State against Houston.
Yeah, but I didn't know about the wide receiver starting at quarterback. Sounds kind of fun.
You dirty fuck. All right. So we might get down on Oklahoma State. Steak, before we move on, did you have an official play on Ohio State 14-point favorites on the road against Illinois? It's the last noon game worth of shit.
No, I don't. But I just want to give my quick Washington State pitch before we move on.
Well, that's 12:45, so that's coming back. Yeah. So nothing for Illinois, Ohio State. Okay. Yes. Ole Miss, 32-point favorites at home against Washington State. The total in this game is 50. Is it 57? 58. Go ahead. Take it away, Steak. What are we doing?
I trust Lane Kiffin very much as a football coach. We both bet Ole Miss over wins, and I believe we both have Ole Miss to win the SEC.
Yep.
And but I do not trust him giving out gambling advice on Twitter. So last week, I'm sure everybody saw it. Mikey Overs tweeted the Wesley Weeks dating his daughter thing and something, and he retweeted Mikey Overs and said, take the over. Me and you texted each other immediately. We said, bro, we should take the under, right? Like, we got to take the under after Lane Kiffin said take the over. Then Big Cat tweets this Washington State spread, and Lane Kiffin tells Big Cat, bet on Ole Miss. So I think it's just right back to the well. We have to take Washington State plus 32.5, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I tweeted it as well, screenshot of that. And I noted that he said, take the over. It didn't go over. And, I thought there was one more that he got involved with, or he just said he was really sorry for the bettors out there. And that Kentucky.
Yeah, he did. It was the Kentucky game. He apologized.
Yeah. So, he's now that he's saying this, it's strictly just going to be that narrative play. It could be silly, it could be stupid. Washington State is horrendous.
Yep.
But I'm going to take them. You're going to take them. We're going to take them plus 32. Okay. The afternoon slate, 3:30. First game that we have on deck officially is Oregon State. Another one that was introduced by you that I fell in love with. And I faded Wake Forest last week. They were my skull fuck candidate. Well, I should say victim, because I thought Virginia Tech was going to follow up a good outright win at NC State by coming home and taking care of business at Wake Forest. Wake Forest started the year with 4 home games. That was their first road game at Blacksburg. They win outright as 6.5-point dogs against Virginia Tech. You don't like this Wake Forest team, but you do have to admit the last 2 weeks they've been playing pretty damn tough. They almost beat Georgia Tech at home as 14-point dogs. And then they beat Virginia Tech. But you said this, and now I'm hopping along. I'm getting in the passenger seat, and I'm ready to go back to the well and fading Wake Forest. Oregon State is atrocious record-wise. They're 0-6, so we're betting on a bad football team here. But Wake Forest is in a tough spot. You got to go from Blacksburg, then all the way over to fucking Corvallis to play Oregon State. And the last thing I want to point out, Oregon State has some respectable losses. Fresno is 5-1. They played them 27-36, pretty tough. Houston, they were 12-point underdogs. They took them to overtime at home. And they've also seen, granted they got their ass kicked, Oregon and Texas Tech. I'm okay with that.
You too.
So we're going to be on Oregon State.
Yeah, we are. And I would never recommend my friends bet on Malik Murphy unless he's playing Robbie Ashford. And I will tip cap to the fact that what Wake Forest is overperforming for sure. And maybe I should just show respect and move on with my life, but I'm not accepting that. I think this is a bad football team. I think this is a bad quarterback, and I think this is a bad spot, and I'm taking the Beavers.
Love it. All right, let's go Beav, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Late one for me, Iowa State on the road against Colorado. We talked about it. We took a clip out of it. Shout out DJ and La. We'll post it later to our social media channels. I don't know if the line's short. I don't know if it's fishy. I don't know if it's trappy. Iowa State's 5-1. They just had their first loss on the road against Cincinnati. Now they go to Colorado. Colorado's 2-4. I'm going to take Iowa State. That's my skull fuck team of the week. And
totally fine with it. Totally fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
-3. I'm going to ladder it.
Yeah, I think Dion is getting too cute this year. I don't know what his plan was going into the season, but whatever he's doing with the quarterback changes has just thrown me off. And they could have beat BYU. They were very close with TCU, two really good teams. Didn't get it done. TCU had that late cover. And like I said, and when we streamed earlier, I just think the wheels might completely fall off for Colorado.
Love it. Did you have a play in TCU Kansas State? TCU is a 1.5 point favorite on the road to Kansas State. I said as a TCU investor, this feels like a terrible spot for them, and I think it's Kansas State. Total is 56 or 55. Did you have anything?
I am cozying up to the under.
You're cozying up to the under. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate that one bit now that I think about it. And lastly, before we get to a play that we do have, did you have anything with Nebraska 6.5 on the road against Maryland? Because you respect Maryland. I faded them last week with Washington minus 6.5. It sucked. Sorry if you can hear a baby crying in the background, but total's 47.5. Anything on this one or no?
No, I actually think it sounds like a pretty fun game, though. Malik Washington versus Dylan Raiola. But I am 100% not losing any more money fading Maryland. I will say that right now.
Okay. All right. We're going to be smart. Notre Dame minus 22.5 official play, minus 115 on FanDuel. It's 23.5 everywhere else. You might respect NC State a little bit more than me. That makes me kind of concerned. I love the spot for Notre Dame. They've got 3 home games where they have Boise, NC State, and USC on deck. Boise State, they were 20.5 point favorites. They almost blew it. Now, they won the game 28-7. They ended up covering, but it was ugly. It was a gross game, and Notre Dame every year drops one of those. They're notorious for it. Dropping one of those games, they're favored by 20+. Marshall, Northern Illinois. Boise State felt like that team this year, but Notre Dame can't afford to do that bullshit anymore. They started the year 0-2. They got to beat everybody, and they got to beat them convincingly. That wasn't convincing. That was the game they usually blow. They survived that scare. Now, the following week against NC State, I say they blow the fucking doors off of them. Also, last thing I'll say, and you pointed this out to me, a lot of people were warming up to that Notre Dame team total last week after they scored 50+ in back-to-back weeks. What happened? They scored 28. They went under their team total. Bettors got fucked. This is going to be the time. I don't think anybody wants to spread, and I don't think anybody wants to go back to the team total. This is when Notre Dame wins the game fucking 49-21.
Yeah. I think they're going to need every bit of 49 points to cover the spread. And I don't respect NC State. I want to clarify. I just respect the offense. CJ Bailey and Hollywood Smothers up there with the quarterback running back combos in the whole country. But like I said before, they are soft as baby shit, bad defensively. And I think Notre Dame is going to score on damn near every drive. So as you mentioned, I like your bet. I also like Notre Dame team total over because I think you're getting 20-something out of NC State. I really do.
Yeah, you're probably right. But it should be noted the Notre Dame defense with a new defensive coordinator could be getting better each week.
Definitely. So, this is a lot better offense than Purdue or Boise State.
100%. And they allowed 30 to Purdue. And you're right. The quarterback for Boise State's atrocious. So nothing to be too proud of holding them to a touchdown. Okay. The marquee game, well, I guess there's 2 of 3:30. Oregon -7 against Indiana at home. Totals 54. I don't have a bet. I don't think you have a bet, but it's worth talking about. Anything that you're coming around on after we went to through the board this morning? Under. Yeah. Okay. Do you see it? If you had to, give me like a score prediction. Do you see Indiana coming close to covering?
I really got nothing on the total. I mean, on the side, man, I really got nothing. I'm like at a point where I just think anything I feel about Oregon's wrong. So I didn't think Dante Moore was going to have 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I did not think he was built like that. And yeah, I guess maybe you could argue the Penn State win looks less impressive now, but still, what do you want them to do? They're beating the shit out of people, and they beat Penn State. Like, I don't know what there is bad to say about Oregon. There's that horrible thing about Indiana is like 1-72 against top 5 teams. They have the second longest losing streak to top 5 teams in the country behind Wake Forest. They're really bad against bad competition. They were last year too. Don't get me wrong. Cignetti's a dog, but Ohio State and Notre Dame housed them. You got to think Dan Lanning wants to fucking I like to pick the spots where I think, yeah, Dan Lanning will definitely love to run this score up. And the way Indiana ran the score up against Illinois makes me think Dan Lanning would love to kind of run the score up against Indiana. So I won't be touching anything. Like, I literally don't think I'm going to get to the counter with anything in this game.
Dude, Oregon has to go to Rutgers next week.
That's hilarious. This whole thing with the Big Ten and ACC is kind of ridiculous.
You mean the Big Ten and the Pac-12?
Well, and the ACC. The ACC,
Oh, the ACC, right.
Stanford is absurd.
It's so stupid. Okay. All right, let's go to a bet we do have. This is a tough one, but it feels like it's got to be done, and we're going to do it. Never did I think I'd say back in the offseason that taking Texas against Oklahoma would feel like the unpopular contrarian side, but that's certainly what it feels like in the Red River shootout here. Oklahoma was a 3.5-point dog because John Mateer has missed a couple weeks. He broke his hand. He's coming back for this game. Line flipped. Whether it's money, whether it's adjustment, I don't fucking know. But Oklahoma is now a 1.5-point favorite. We're taking Texas here. And when we thought about a reason to write up this game in the newsletter, it was really tough to give any sort of logical analysis on it.
Yeah.
But it feels like the time to buy Texas.
Yeah.
It just does. The total in this game is 45. I'm curious. Do you think that this is going to be a square or contrarian over? And I say that because Mateer, not 100%. Let's just say he's not 100%. Oklahoma has a good defense, and nobody really likes Arch Manning. So I know it's a low number, but is the over going to be popular when people think about that?
Oklahoma doesn't go over this number against anybody.
Yeah,
they haven't been over this number one time this year.
No shit.
Yeah, Oklahoma has not been over this number one time this year.
I didn't even realize that.
Texas has been over this number twice. 55-0 win against Sam Houston and a 29-21 loss to the Florida Gators.
Mike, what's going on here? I'm
that's
trying to be a nice host here, Chris, but
that's definitely you. Yeah.
Paul Feinbaum.
That's
Paul
all right.
Feinbaum interrupted our stream, dude.
No free ads.
Yeah.
Right.
That threw me off, but I like Texas.
Okay.
I like not cocky Texas. That's what I'm backing here. Texas comes into every season like their shit doesn't stink, and it kind of does stink. And they act like they're Georgia and they act like they're Ohio State, but they're fucking not. They're the choking ass, haven't won a national championship ass Longhorns in 20 fucking years. And then they just lost to the Florida Gators, who lost to everybody, including South Florida. And the Gators beat up Arch Manning. And there's nothing to be cocky about anymore if you're Texas. Now you play your rival, neutral field. You really got nothing to lose, man. You got nothing to lose. You got all the talent in the world. Everyone's doubting you. And the advantage you thought you had was that maybe the former Heisman frontrunner John Mateer wasn't going to play. And then they announced that he's in. And so they're rushing this guy back to play this game because they know they need him. And I don't blame him. I just don't think it's a good idea. And so I have a vision where Texas controls the clock. Texas runs the ball. Texas finds success. Arch Manning doesn't make mistakes. And you get a chippy 24-21 Texas win.
Okay. All right. I like it. Let's keep going. 4:15 p.m. Here's one that you and I both like. It's not in the newsletter in a official play. I love throwing that around, by the way, if people watching don't know. That's a joke. Yeah. We're going to be at Arkansas. 12.5 on the road against Tennessee. We're cranking hog. Sam Pittman's out. The defense has been atrocious. They let Notre Dame go in there at home and score 56 or something on them. I mean, it's been real bad. Taylor Green's a guy I've seen respected people talk about as a long shot Heisman pick. I like their offense. I like things about their team, but I just can't get their defense out of my mind on seeing what they let Notre Dame, what they let Ole Miss, and even Memphis do to them. Yeah. Now they're on the road against Tennessee. People like this Tennessee team, as they should. But
solid team.
Yeah, solid team. Let's see, they're 4-1. They're coming off an overtime win against Mississippi State, but then they had a bye. Yeah, they had a bye week, and they lost to Georgia.
Did Arkansas have a bye too?
That's a very good question. Yes, they did have a bye, I believe. Yep, they had a bye after the Notre Dame game. But is there a better time to fire your coach before going into a bye after 3 straight losses and hitting a reset? Because we talked about
it's a well-timed buy and a well-timed firing, and I think I'm going to buy into both. And I think I'm going to buy into Arkansas being able to keep up with Tennessee in a shootout, because I'll be honest, Arkansas's defense is much worse than Tennessee's, but Georgia still dropped 44 on Tennessee, and I actually think Arkansas's offense is better than Tennessee's. So I don't think it's that crazy to think Arkansas competes in this game.
Love it. All right, let's keep moving. Tempo and pace is crispy as fuck. Couple games stake. I just want to be 100% sure you've got nothing. Florida, Texas A&M, total 47.
Nothing.
Purdue at Minnesota.
You should talk about this one. I'm not betting this fucking one. You like
I'm not going to spend more than 30 seconds on this.
Sure.
I just think Purdue, after we took them last week as 9.5-point home dogs against Illinois, and they got their dick kicked in. What do they lose? 47-23 or 43-27?
Yeah.
Now they're on the road against Minnesota, and Minnesota just played Ohio State. I think people still like this Minnesota team, and nobody likes Purdue. I think 8 is short as fuck. I think you could. Minnesota was like 4.5, 5-point favorites against Rutgers.
Yeah, but they didn't cover. The only pushback I'll give you, and like you said, we've already eclipsed our 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody likes Minnesota, and Darius Taylor's been banged up. I have no idea if he's playing, so that would be my only pushback. But if you want to press the Purdue button, I won't be your get back guy.
Michigan and USC. I am not going to fade Michigan, but you brought up Sharon Moore talking shit. Lincoln Riley having a response. I am now in on USC team total. I like Jaden Maeva, Heisman guy. He's probably not going to win it now after losing to Illinois, but this could be a big game for him, and I'm going to dabble. Are you?
Yeah, I've actually made a decision since our morning stream and this stream that I will be betting USC -2.5. You can add it to my card.
Okay. All right. Love it. Coming out of a bye week as well.
I hate Sharon Moore, and I can't
me too.
miss my opportunity to fade this dork when he's talking trash, because this dork should not talk trash ever.
Preach. Clemson, Boston College. I'm only bringing this up because it sounds like you wanted to get down with Boston College. Are you 14.5-point dogs?
Low key, I want to, but after what they did to us last week, I don't know if I should.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We should let the people know that we had Boston College +6.5 just in case they weren't already aware, and they lost 48-7. Okay.
Yeah.
A couple more games as we move on here. Texas Tech is 14-point favorites at home against Kansas. I am looking at Kansas real funny. I don't know that I'm going to press the button, but I just wanted to throw it out there that I am thinking about betting them.
This would be a spot where I squared up and took Texas Tech if I bet this game.
Okay. What are you going to do with Georgia Auburn? Georgia's 3.5-point favorites on the road. We talk about it, and I just want to keep repeating ourselves if we have new listeners. We like teams that have a bye when they need a bye. We don't like teams that have a bye when they don't need a bye. If they're scorching hot and they get a bye week, we'll fade them after that. Auburn was running out of gas after fucking back-to-back games at Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Needed a bye. That is the only thing keeping me off Georgia here. Otherwise, I'd love Georgia. Total's 46.5.
Yeah, I said it before. I think that Missouri or Auburn is winning outright. I've tied my boat to Missouri. I'll probably sit off this game. Might take the under, to be completely honest. But I think Auburn has a shot. Keep it close.
South Carolina, 9.5-point dogs on the road against LSU. Total 44. I hate that I'm saying this, but I love LSU. And I fell in love with LSU too soon after Clemson. What do we know about Clemson? They ain't worth shit. Then LSU beats Florida 20-10, but only because Lagway threw 5 interceptions. They go on the road against Ole Miss. Pathetic performance by Nussmeier. And we took LSU. We hated doing it. Felt like we had to do it because we're invested in Ole Miss. LSU gets a bye. Now they play South Carolina. South Carolina was 9.5-point dogs against Missouri, and they covered that game. You think they're going to do it again against LSU? I don't think they're going to. I like LSU in this one. I think they win the game by 17.
No problem with the wager, but to be honest, if I had to make like a top 10 list of teams I am not interested in betting on whatsoever, LSU and South Carolina would both be on that list.
That's a really good way to put it. Okay, let's carry on here. BYU on the road in Arizona. They're 1.5-point favorites. You got to bet in this game.
Well, BYU dating back to last year, even though it's not a completely different team, but a different team and a different quarterback, has been a bitch to fade. And I try not to do it very much. However, this is my spot. I like this Arizona team. I even think we kind of nailed their one loss being a bad spot for them. We nailed them against Kansas State, and I had them last week against Oklahoma State to cover. So I've been pretty spot on about this team and the fact that Fafita is having a nice little bounce back year after not living up to the expectations with Teteroa McMillan. And I think this is another spot for Arizona where I think they get this win at home.
Okay. I like it. Last game worth talking about, Utah at home, 7.5 against Arizona State, total 45. Sam Levitt is not playing, I believe. I don't know if that's
Levitt is not playing. Jeff Sims is former.
Jeff Sims is filling in Arizona State. What do you like in this one?
I think I still like Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked Utah regardless, but now I really like Utah. The adjustment was 8.5. The line's 8.5, right?
Yeah, let me look at
Yeah.
Pitt, but probably
I like Utah. I think they're decent. They're obviously not as good as
8.5.
Texas Tech, and that's not arguable. They got absolutely pounded by Texas Tech, but that's the only time everyone's seen Utah. And honestly, all other games, they've been solid. They've done their job. And I like Devin Dampier to have a much better game. He beat the shit out of West Virginia, and I think he'll have a lot of success against this Arizona State defense that will be on the field more because they don't have Sam Levitt playing quarterback, which inevitably means the offense will be on the field less.
All right. All right. Great job. 30 minutes, Steak. That's exactly what we said after we grinded the board for an hour and a half earlier this morning. Again, best bets are in our newsletter. Go to the website, thedegenerateweekly.com. Subscribe for free. We send them out every Friday morning. Make sure you subscribe to the page. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody. Like the video, like the stream. We appreciate that. Steak, make sure you say that when you tweet it.
Leave a comment. Leave a comment.
Leave a comment too. Yep, leave a comment. Somebody said that Degen was a tough watch the other day. Don't leave a comment if that's the comment. Subscribe to the page. Thank you, everybody. Good luck on your wager Saturday. Steak, we'll talk to you later. Good luck, everyone.
Yeah.